Track Reviews.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, let's dig into a real classic track review type video where I go over a new song coming from the one and only Mr. Quadeca, aka Ben Lasky, a once YouTube rap artist who has now kind of evolved in a very short period of time into a musical polymath of sorts, putting out numerous impressive projects over the years, packed with great songs, but also tracks that stylistically and aesthetically come from a lot of different places. And it's just been impressive to continue to watch him grow and change as an artist, even as he has gained this sort of unforeseen level of critical acclaim among some of the most discerning and picky music fans out there. Not usually the type of respect and adoration you see getting thrown toward artists who at one time were kind of climbing up the ladder of YouTube rap. Although from what I understand, that epic YouTube rap battles of History Channel, they're coming out with a vinyl record. Let me know in the comments if you're gonna get that so that we can block you. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to do that. No, we're going to pin every comment from somebody who's going to buy that record. Well, anyway, if you're unfamiliar with Quadeca at this point, I think you should get familiar, especially with the highly conceptual and narrative I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. Really a fan favorite of his, one that I enjoyed quite a bit myself, but I was actually even more impressed in a way with its very strange, experimental, and ragtag follow-up, this Scrap Yard compilation project, which featured a bunch of tracks and material that I could understand not necessarily fitting on a album that had a more cohesive vision to it, as the song concepts and instrumentals are a little all over the place, but still, for me personally, that was kind of the appeal. All these tracks culminated into a really interesting series of fusions, bringing together elements of lo-fi bedroom pop and indie, folk, emo, and hip-hop too. While in one breath, it was clear this project was packaged to be perceived as maybe like a bit of a one-off in the Quadeca discography, it was still a really impressive feat for Ben to have crafted so many impressive songs that stylistically come from so many seemingly disparate places, and yet it all works together so cohesively. I expect maybe a little bit more of that same energy on this upcoming album, especially given this recent transmission from Ben in regards to the upcoming record and the new single. The album is titled Vanisher Horizon Scraper, and Ben promises that no two songs on this record are alike, which has made choosing singles a difficult task. Part of me doesn't believe in singles, and the other part of me wants every song to have its own universe. I can't wait to reveal the full picture, which is quite the expectation to set for an upcoming album. Though, to play devil's advocate, I will say I do disagree a little bit with at least what we've heard so far of these singles sounding completely different. And if you guys have been paying attention, the two tracks we have heard from this record so far are Monday, the latest one, and then previous to that, Godstained. And that one, in a lot of ways, was an interesting and unlikely fusion of genres that came together really cohesively, like many songs from Scrapyard, because you had elements of Baroque folk, very lush, lavish instrumentation, kind of neo-soul, pop soul songwriting style that was very akin to artists like Frank Ocean, while simultaneously you could pick out like little elements of Marvin Gaye in there too. You had that dramatic little rap bridge on the back end of the song that flowed in very seamlessly as well. Once again, it's Quadeca like flexing every stylistic muscle that he possibly has in his musical arsenal, and all of it working out really well in the process. If I could further describe and compare this track, I would say it feels almost like a more mature and impressively arranged version of a song that could have been on the Scrapyard EP series or full project, were it actually maybe more raw or noisy or something like that. But instead, in this instance, it's covered with more sort of high grade, beautiful, expensive sounding instrumentation. And I would say that's also the case for this latest single over here, Monday, which again, I do think if there's a repeating theme going on here, aesthetically anyway, it's that the instrumentation is sounding a lot more lavish. There's more strings. It's one of his most clean and high grade sounding recordings yet, and he even seems to be drifting a little bit away from some of the noisier and more experimental instrumental palettes that we heard on I Didn't Mean to Haunt You too. With this upcoming album, I am most definitely expecting probably some elements of experimental music, maybe even a bit of noise at some point, somewhere, given that that has been at least a pretty consistent influence as Quadeca has like kind of broadened his musical aesthetics. But it does seem like he's taking a conscious turn on these two new tracks to make music that does sound like generally and genuinely beautiful on the ears, very ornate and very pretty. And I would say that is especially true of Monday Over Here, which is this very whimsical little Baroque folk, Baroque pop tune with a very waltz type groove to it. I would say the poetry on this track runs as very quaint and very sad too, as we do have Ben addressing feeling older on this track, and it seems almost as if he's describing a relationship or a connection that is just not doing too well. It's almost like on the way out. It's seen better days for sure, and his way of explaining this or exploring these feelings is making a lot of consistent allusions and metaphors toward laundry and clothing, be it the line about him airing out his heart on a line, or the series of lines about a coat that he's wearing and having a trick up his sleeve, the line about him putting on his hat as well in the third verse of the track. Even the runway line in the chorus could be alluding to this too. It could be a fashion runway or maybe like an airplane runway, which in the context of the line is a place where you most definitely don't want to be losing your grip. But yeah, I'm loving the fact that Ben on these two new tracks is making music that sounds so pretty, sounds so lovely, but he is sidestepping the trap that some artists fall into going in this direction when they create something unintentionally bland. I mean, these tracks thankfully don't sound anywhere near bland or flavorless or boring. They're detailed, they're gorgeous, they're captivating, they're spellbinding. His vocals fit really well on these instrumentals, whether he's singing, whether he's rapping, and the lyricism consistently comes across as thoughtful on these tracks too. So I don't know, despite Ben's public statement here, while I do know he is a very versatile artist and musician, I have a hard time with this record seeing him release an album where literally no two songs sound alike in any way. I mean, as versatile as his style has proven to be, when you look at the aesthetics and the musical influences that go into records like Haunt You, the record previous to that, or even Scrapyard, like these records do sound pretty cohesive. Like all the songs feel like they're meant to be together, be it through them sharing similar production techniques or having a storyline, pulling all of it together. So again, I don't think Ben is going to give us a record over here where it's like all over the place to a fault. Somehow with him dealing in as many genres as he does, he has avoided that pitfall. But no doubt with this upcoming LP, there is going to be versatility. And, you know, look, as much as I think these two new singles so far share a lot of overlap, there are serious differences between them. I mean, from the Baroque pop feel of this latest track and the more soul songwriting inspo of Godstained, like, you know, clearly there's at least some versatility, some separation between these two tracks. And I don't think both of these cuts would be sort of investing so much time in the instrumentation sounding so lavish and so pretty and so ornate and so enchanting if that wasn't going to be something that Ben made sure to follow through on with at least some more of the tracks on the album. But yeah, with that being said, those are my thoughts on these two new tracks. Definitely an album that I'm looking forward to. Let me know what you think of the Quadeca singles so far. Are you excited for this upcoming LP? You're the best. Thank you for watching. And yeah, obviously review for the entire record when it eventually comes out. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Quadeca, forever.